Next up, we're going to talk about HTML entities. So on this slide, in blue text, there is an ampersand and then a pound sign 9824 semicolon. Does anyone have any idea what that is? I don't know why I'm asking because I can't tell if any of you are raising your hand or not, but this is basically what I would do in person if I was teaching this. This is an example of an HTML entity or an entity code, or there's different ways of referring to it, but basically it's an HTML entity. So what are these? Well, they are special codes or special sequences that we can use inside of our HTML that will result in different characters. So these characters could be something that is reserved in HTML. I'll show you some examples of that. Or it could be something that's tricky to type, like a copyright symbol, or maybe a diamond, or a cross, or an arrow. There are different characters that are just not really easy to type on a keyboard. So these HTML entities allow us to add those characters in. I kind of regret making this little animated slide. I thought it would be cool, but it's just very distracting at this point. So they all start with an ampersand. They all end with a semicolon. That's what I was trying to show here. Ampersand, semicolon. And then in between, we put some string of characters. So there are quite a few of them. I'll show you, let's see. Here's a reference. I believe this is all of them. These are all different symbols, characters, entities, different things that we could add in to our document. For example, there's copyright. We've got a whole bunch of accents and different letters from different alphabets, international alphabets, like this numero thing, a trademark symbol, arrows, lots of things. So I'll show you a few examples to start. One thing that is pretty common that you may need at times is to use a reserved character. So in HTML, there are a couple of characters that you just are not supposed to use because they are significant to the syntax of HTML. First of all, the less than and greater than brackets. So if I wanted to have, for some reason, I don't know, an H1 where I was writing, how about 1 is less than 6? I don't know why I want to write that, but that's what I want to write. That's what I want to show up in the document. Well, as soon as I save here, first of all, VS Code is unhappy with me, or it's confused because its algorithm to auto-format this document sees this less than sign, and it assumes that this whole thing is some sort of tag, that this is a tag that has been opened but not closed. It gets confused. This is reserved in HTML. Now, my browser actually is okay. It works past it, and it's able to still display everything the way it should. But this is a reserved character, and it could cause problems. And if you do need a less than or a greater than, you should not add them like this. Instead, we use entity codes, and we can find them. It's easiest, in my opinion, just to search for the exact one you need. So something like HTML entity less than. And then you'll see right away, actually, the solution or the code that we need, ampersand LT semicolon, so less than. So we just replace it with ampersand LT semicolon. Now that one is very easy to remember, as is greater than. So we don't really see a difference, but now you can see that VS Code has forgiven me. It doesn't get all freaked out. Let's do one more. Here we'll do greater than, so ampersand and then GT semicolon, and then how about just another number? Actually, that would be a lie. 6 greater than, I don't know, 6 greater than 5, sure. And there we go. So less than and greater than signs. The other character, at least one more reserved character that you should not use, is the ampersand itself. So if I put an ampersand in there, I don't think we'll have any problems. In VS Code, we won't see any issues, but this is a reserved character. The browser thinks that this represents the start of an entity code. So there is an ampersand character, or an entity code. It's amp. So ampersand amp semicolon, and that will give it to us. So ampersand amp semicolon. We shouldn't really see anything different. All right, so I'll show you a few other examples. Every entity also has a number that you can use. So there's an entity name. For example, we had less than, which was LT. See if I can find that on this cheat sheet. But we could also have done ampersand and then this hash sign, also called the octothorpe, 60 semicolon. But obviously this is easier to remember. So we also have less than or equal, greater than or equal to, all these other mathematical symbols. And then we've also got things like the suits for a card deck. So let's just add one of those quickly. Ampersand spade, or spades, that's actually what I had on the slides when I was asking you if you knew what that was. Right here, 9824. It's the same thing, but it's just easier to do it this way. So we could put a spade in there if we want. Refresh. There it is. We could put a heart in there. Ampersand. I think it's just hearts. Is that right? Yep. And that's kind of all there is to these entity codes. So if you ever see something like this in your markup, don't panic. Or if you see something like this, or even if you see something with these numbers, just remember if it starts with an ampersand and it ends in a semicolon, it's going to be replaced when it's rendered in the browser. So it is not exactly what it seems. It's just a special code that the browser can recognize to display either things that are difficult to type. How would you type spades or this character, or things that are reserved like less than and greater than and the ampersand. All right, so that's entities.